Hi everyone, I'm Sophie and I'm working at the GS1 Global Office in Belgium, in Brussels. And I'm here today to talk to you about global standards for an interconnected and secure pharma supply chain. This is the agenda I have for you today. So I will walk you through what is GS1, what's GS1 Healthcare, how global standards support a more efficient and secure pharmaceutical supply chain. And of course, as this conference is named Pharma Logistic Africa, I will get to you with a focus on Africa. So what's GS1? For those who do not know us, GS1 is a standard development organization, an international one, and we are non-for-profit, neutral, operating in 150 countries with 115 member organizations. We're working like a federation. We get 2,500 staff members, and we're highly users-driven, meaning that we can count today more than 1,300,000 users worldwide. We do operate in different sectors, in retail, in technical industries, transport and logistics, food and beverage, and of course, healthcare. So what's GS1 Healthcare? As you see here, GS1 Healthcare is not new. You have this little logo there on the top right-hand side of the slide, and we celebrated recently our 15 years. 15 years ago, a group of healthcare stakeholders gathered together in order to have a vision. And when I'm talking about stakeholders, I'm talking about manufacturers for medical device and pharmaceuticals, wholesalers, distributors, logistic providers, solution providers, donor organization, regulatory bodies, sectoral association. And of course, as we are operating and we try to cover the end-to-end supply chain down to the patient, we include at the table healthcare providers, hospitals and pharmacists. And this group is really working around four main pillars. The first one is the patient safety. This resonates in every one of us. We are there to improve, try to support and improve the patient safety. Just like the increasing of the supply chain, security and efficiency through traceability with a high quality of product data. We do not work alone. I am based at the GS1 Global Office. This is our headquarters in Brussels. There's another headquarters in Princeton in the US. And as I said, we have 115 member organizations worldwide. Within those 115 MOs, we call them MOs, we have roughly 40 GS1 member organization healthcare user group, and a lot of others in different countries. Meaning that at the global level, we do develop standards, but we really need our colleagues at the local level in order to implement them. I was talking about a community of different stakeholders. This slide illustrates a lot of logo companies. This is really what we try to do. We try to have more and more people joining us, more and more people spreading the word. We try to increase, of course, this community. There are many more at the local level, but this is a good example of the people who are supporting our work and who are working with us at the global level. This slide is super important. We cover the end-to-end supply chain, meaning that we go down to the patient. Here you have several logos of hospitals, healthcare providers who successfully implement GS1 standards, meaning that they see the benefits of implementing those standards to help the nurses, the surgeons, to try to ultimately improve patient safety in their hospitals. We're very proud of all of those healthcare providers. They are successful use cases. We do publish once a year a reference book with all of those successful stories, and our work is really to increase the number of healthcare providers who implement GS1 standards and to get more logos on this slide as well. As I said in the beginning, GS1 is a standard development organization. We do work with other, we do not work alone. So here you have a good illustration as well. We're working with HL7, ISO, SNOMED. We are co-chairing the Joint Initiative Council. And we do work with a lot of other international organizations that you can see at the bottom of the slide. All of this is really to make you understand that GS1 and GS1 Healthcare is all about facilitating the relationship within this landscape. And of course, the cooperation and collaboration with all those actors sitting at the table, trying to speak the same language. So the question is how global standards support a more efficient and secure pharma supply chain. And I will try to explain you how. You see here a very busy slide with a lot of acronyms. I won't go into every one of them, but I will try to explain you what's the global system of standards, what GS1 can offer. So you have here 3 boxes, one blue, one pink, and one green. The blue one concerns identification, the GS1 standards that are there for the identification. Could be the identification of a product. You see here the item, the GTIN, the Global Trade Identification Number. That could be for a manufacturer site with the GLN, the Global Location Number. Some others for pallet case would be the SSCC, the Sale Shipping Container Code. And as we include the consumer, the patient, we really go down there from the end-to-end supply chain perspective. This standard is as well very important. We call it GSRN. This is the Global Service Relation Number concerning the consumer or the patient. So once that has been done, we go to the pink part. The pink part concerns the capturing of those information. And in order to do that, GS1 standards has barcodes. The most known could be the QR code and the GS1 data matrix. RFID for retail as well, you might have heard about that. Basically, those barcodes are done to contain and contain several information that can be read by an external machine, by a scanner. So this is very important step because we need to read and retrieve those information. So first identify, second capture, and the green one is of course very important in the whole process, is the sharing of those information from the end-to-end supply chain, from the bottom to the top to the bottom, sorry. And we call them the GS1 standards for data exchange. And we have, for instance, the GDSN, the Global Data Synchronization Network for master data. We have the EDI, the Electronic Data Interchange for transactional or commercial data. And we have the EPCIS concerning information services. And this is more for the event data. This is really to be able to follow the movement of the goods all along the supply chain. Here you see a very, very important word, because all of that, as those standards are global, is good for the interoperability of different systems. If you go in an hospital, you might not know that, but this is the reality. There are hundreds of different clinical systems who cannot speak to one another. And with the usage of those global system of standards, the interoperability operates, and that's the beauty of it. In healthcare, we talk about traceability, of course, who can really enable to see the movement of drugs, pharma, medical devices, the vaccines. We're very busy with that for the moment, and PPE across the supply chain. The traceability is really to get the right product at the right time, to the right place / right patient at a sustainable cost. Tracking all those pharmaceutical products all along the healthcare supply chain helps to decrease counterfeiting, increasing the supply chain efficiency, and ultimately patient safety, and of course, comply with regulation. You know that the healthcare landscape is highly regulated. So while we have different requirements and different deadline for the pharma world, for the medical device world, there's absolutely a need for an harmonized pharmaceutical traceability requirements. And that's what we try to advocate at GS1 Healthcare. This is what this is all about. Basically, this is really GS1 Healthcare advocating the global harmonization around this global trend, the GS1 data matrix, with a global unique product identification on the secondary packaging of the product, with 4 data attributes. So the GTIN, as we saw in the previous slide, the product identifier, the serial number, expiration date, and lot number. All of those 4 information which are crucial in terms of pharmaceutical product. This word map illustrates really the importance of having a unique identifier following the product all along the supply chain. The supply chain are global. So you see here the countries who are accepting GS1 standards at this stage. The second word map is concerning the GS1 data matrix. And this is to show you as well the importance of using the same barcode all along the supply chain. If you get the same barcode in an hospital, ultimately this will improve the quality of the work of the staff and basically, ultimately, the quality of the care to the patient. At GS1 Healthcare, we do have a team who is mapping all those different developments, regulatory requirements, different deadlines in both pharma traceability and unique device identification concerning the medical device. And we developed some tool. This is one of them, the GS1 Public Policy Interactive Map, where you can click on the country you're interested in and get the latest developments in terms of pharma traceability or unique device identification. While GS1 has a non-coercive mandate, so can certainly not enforce the country which are missing on the world map that I showed you previously and tell them to adopt GS1 data matrix. I wanted to share with you this policy paper on traceability that has been published by the WHO, where it's clearly stated that the global standards to enable traceability do have benefits and that WHO encourage and recommends to all WHO member countries to do so. So we really hope with this publication that it will accelerate the adoption of GS1 data matrix in the missing countries. And then a focus on Africa, of course, before I end this presentation. We did a lot already in the African continent. This is absolutely not new. I think the continent might not have been ready a couple of years ago to really commit. Now I think it's the case. And this conference in 2019 that GS1 Healthcare has organized with the support of several donor organizations, USAID, World Bank, Global Fund, and others, has really been a highlight in this journey. And I was in the room and I can still feel the commitment and when really all the countries stood up in order to commit and to sign this document on the right-hand side of this slide, is call to action to really boost and continue the journey on the African strategy for pharmaceutical supply chain traceability. 25 countries signed this call to action, plus 6 donor organizations. And this has been really a momentum that we try to leverage. And therefore, our focus at GS1 Healthcare is not only in Africa, of course, because we operate globally, but this is really a great part of our work today. With all of that, we are 2 years later, and a lot of traceability initiatives have been started, all together with really partners who coordinate all those efforts. And you can see here that GS1 is in the middle of this slide to enable all those traceability initiatives. We have an example, and this is very recent, that's why I'm sharing that with you today, with the Global Trust Repository. This repository is really the future and can really accelerate and boom the implementation of the traceability in several African countries. Basically, this repository can host traceability data from manufacturer and can be accessed by all the African countries. So this is an example that might be followed by other initiatives, but I think now it's time, and with all of those big names on this slide who are supporting all those initiatives, we are very confident that Africa will move. Before I leave you, I wanted to share with you a very inspirational video. You will see, this is a 2 minutes video, this is a short one. You will see some representative of NAFDAC, the Nigeria FDA, Ethiopian FDA, the EFDA, and some donor organization. And if you listen to them, I think this is relatively self-explanatory.
1 in 10 medicines are substandard in sub-Saharan Africa. Surprisingly or alarmingly, most of the substandard and falsified medicines are life-saving antibiotics. Because of receiving substandard and falsified medicines, 72,000 to 170,000 children die because of pneumonia every year. Using fake anti-malarial medications might be responsible for an additional 116,000 deaths due to malaria. How do we combat this? By implementing traceability system and through implementation of global standards.
It is now the vaccines are distributed to the different states, to the different local governments, different healthcare facilities, and of course to the recipients. We've been able to track and trace to the point where that secondary packaging is still intact.
Having a standard throughout the supply chain, increase visibility, which will bring us savings, more efficiency, and then improve product availability, so we can save mothers from dying from shortage of products. We can save children for having the right malaria medication at the right time. So it's really important to have that standard implemented in the supply chain to get that more visibility data so we can manage the supply chain more efficiently.
These are huge steps in the implementation strategies, but we can do it. I tell our staff, if you don't see a challenge, if you don't face a challenge, you may not know the potential that you have. We're going to do it.
Here we go. That was a very inspirational message from Professor Moji Adeyeye, the DG of the NAFDAC, of the Nigerian FDA. And we are going to do it all together. A lot of hope behind this message. So I'd like to thank you for your attention. Here are my contacts. I put the one of my colleague Nuran, who is operating in Kenya and who is driving locally as well all that work. If you have any question, want more information about what you heard, let us know. I wish you a lovely conference. I hope you found this presentation insightful, and I will leave you. So thank you so much. Take good care of yourself and see you soon. Bye-bye.